All right, welcome back. We're going to move on here to key topic 11, urgency and safety communications. So in our last presentation, we talked about distress. These are the two that aren't quite up to the level of distress, but they're still important communications that the regulations do cover. In the definition section of the regulations, we'll see that urgency signal is defined as the international radio telegraph or radio telephone signal that indicates that the calling station has a very urgent message to transmit concerning the safety of a ship, aircraft, or other vehicle, or of some person on board or within sight. So urgency, and you can kind of see by the illustration here, the DUS, urgency is urgent. There's serious danger as opposed to distress, which might use the word urgent, but there is serious and immediate danger or imminent. All right. So what's the typical urgency transmission? Is it A, a request for medical assistance that does not rise to the level of a distress or a critical weather transmission? I think there should be a comma there. Or a critical weather transmission higher than safety. Which so far, the first part of it sounded fairly decent. But the second part, when they throw the weather in there, I think that is going to water down the answer a little bit. It's not going to be quite as important as the request for medical assistance. B, a radio distress transmission affecting the security of humans or property. Well, they're using the word distress, so that's going to be a distress transmission, not an urgency communication. C, health and welfare traffic which impacts the protection of onboard personnel. So that was kind of what they were talking about urgency. Something is affecting either the ship or the persons on board. Or D, communications alert that important personal messages must be transmitted. Well, that's not going to be too urgent, is it? It's important, though. I won't comment much further on that. Don't answer B. Thank you. Don't answer D. All right, so the correct answer is going to be C. No, I'm sorry. It's A. Where's my mind at here? A request for medical assistance. Apparently, weather does not water it down as far as I. All right, I see. Weather is normally safety, but it's saying it is higher than safety. I kind of missed that. So, all right, I would have said C also. I guess we did also. My bad. If I steered you that way, I sure did too, didn't I? The definition goes on for urgency signal in radio telegraph. So when we're talking about telegraphs, they don't use the pan, they use XXX because you're actually tapping out the various letters in the words. So you can't really quickly do pan, but you can do XXX. And that's going to precede the calls if you're using a telegraph that is hooked up to the radio. In radio telephone, the international urgency signal consists of 3 oral repetitions of the group of words pan, each word of the group pronounced as the French word pané and sent before the call. Pané. I think if you're saying pan, that's good enough. All right, the question is, what is the internationally recognized urgency signal? Is it the letters TTT transmitted 3 times by the telegraph? No, it was XXX. B, the words pan pan spoken 3 times before the urgency call. Can't say anything bad about that. C, 3 oral repetitions of the word safety. You got the wrong category. Or D, the pronouncement of the word Mayday. Also wrong category. So it's going to be the pan pan. Urgency. If it was safety, we're going to use the word safety. But keep in mind, it does go distress, urgency, safety. Oh, excuse me. Pan pan spoken 3 times. Mayday is reserved for distress traffic only. Pan pan spoken 3 times is for urgency. Urgency signals and messages. There's a section that covers this, and so I'm showing you at least the first part of the section. The urgency signal indicates that the calling station is a very urgent message to transmit concerning the safety of a ship, aircraft, or other vehicle, or the safety of a person. So the ship or the actual equipment, in the broad term, meaning airplane, helicopter, submarine, ship, pleasure vehicle, wave runner. The urgency signal must be sent only on the authority of the master or the person responsible for the mobile station. Okay, the question is, the urgency signal concerning the safety of a ship, aircraft, or person shall be sent only on the authority of who? Who has the authority, or who can give the authority for transmitting such a message? Is it A, the master of the ship? B, the person responsible for the mobile station? C, either the master of the ship or the person responsible for the mobile station? Or D, an FCC licensed operator? So now we saw the regulation that says it could be either, which is helpful because if the one's available and the other isn't, you don't want to have to run all over the ship asking, has anyone seen the master, or has anyone seen the radio supervisor? So it's going to be either. If the master of the ship is busy, as often happens in urgency situations, then the responsibility falls upon the person so designated. All right, we did fine on that one. Again, the order of priority of communications are the distress, followed by urgency, followed by safety, followed by any other communications. DUS. So I believe we're going to see a question on the priority of communications. The urgency signal has lower priority than, so basically they're rewording it a little bit to make sure that we understand where it sits in the hierarchy. So what is the urgency signal lower than? A, ship to ship. B, distress. C, safety. D, security. Okay, urgency is lower priority than, yes, distress, which has the highest priority, followed by urgency. And finally, the safety signal. So DUS. Here's our S. The safety signal, the definition. Oh, it's actually more than just definition. It's also in the section that deals with safety signals. It's identical language, though. The safety signal is the international radio telegraph or radio telephone signal, which indicates that the station is sending this signal, that the station sending this signal is preparing to transmit a message concerning the safety of navigation or giving important meteorological warnings. So basically, we're talking about safety of navigation or meteorological, which is the scientific word for weather warnings. Navigation, basically, what navigational options that you're going to exercise or obstacles that you might encounter. And in the case, I'm showing an example of a tornado, which might actually be a little higher than just safety, depending on where it's headed. The sole question, I believe, on safety transmission, so you might not even see it on your test because they'll just pick from the 6 and they're more than likely going to ask you something about urgency. So what is a safety transmission? Is it A, a communications transmission, which indicates that the station is preparing to transmit an important navigation or weather warning? Okay, I like that one so far. B, a radio telephone warning preceded by the words pan, pan. No, I believe that was used for urgency. C, health and welfare traffic concerning the protection of human life. That was higher than just safety. Or D, a voice call preceded by the word safety alert. Well, it's close, but it's the wrong words. The words are securite. So it looks like A is going to be our best answer, which you both agree with. Safety traffic concerns only navigation and weather information. Is there one more? There is one more. My apologies. The safety signal, too. If in a telegraph hooked up to the radio, you start with the TTT before the call. So urgency was XXX on the telegraph. And they don't ask you this on any of the tests. I just find it kind of interesting. 3, in the radio telephone, the international safety signal consists of 3 oral repetitions of security, pronounced as the French word security, sent before the call, or te, I guess. So you say that 3 times. Security, security, security. This is James, James, James. I think. Oh, they're saying it backwards. The name of the call sign of the station sending the message, the nature of the condition, the words this is. Now, this gets a little confusing to me. I'd have to sit down and see an example of the message that follows these this order. But I think we know what the question's going to be. So let's take a look at it. Without even reading the question, just looking at the answers, I think we could probably answer it. Let's see how quick we can answer this. Did I do that? Oops, how come I can't share stop sharing? Well, we're not going to do it too fast because you've already read it by this point. What safety signal call word is spoken 3 times, followed by the station's call letters, spoken 3 times, to announce a storm warning, danger to navigation, or special aid to navigation? Pan pan, mayday, safety, or security? Pronounced like the French word sécurité, which is the correct answer. When you hear the words security, 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 you know that the message concerns a storm, warning, or danger to navigation is about to be sent. Nice. end the poll, share the result, stop the share, and I think I can close it out because I believe that's the last question. So since we're using all these French words, I figure the bon voyage is going to be a nice way to finish this one up. So thanks for joining me, and go ahead and wrap this one up also.